Does the first part of your relationship, the honeymoon period, is that the best that it gets? If you're like most people and society, you think that in the very beginning, when you first fall in love, that's the highest and most loving you're ever going to feel towards your significant other. But what if that's completely false? It has been my experience in my marriage with Katie, now on year 15, that it has gotten better and better and better with time. We've fallen more and more and more in love. Today, we're going to talk about the 7 highest themes of consciousness that your relationship can get to. It goes from accountability to ease to inspiration and then motivation and then into understanding and finally to love and lasting happiness. And we can experience all these amazing higher themes when we just learn how to do it. We have the experts on relationships back with us again today, Matt and Ash, the yoga couple, and they're going to talk about how to make our relationship the most loving, the most fun, and the most exciting as the years go on. Let's rock. Welcome to the Good Mood Revolution. I'm your host, Matt O'Neill, and I've spent the last 15 years mastering the art of lasting happiness. Look, happiness isn't just a feeling, it is a skill, and it's a skill that you can learn and master. This show is your training ground. Let your good mood revolution begin now. So the first step is awareness, then it sounds like, is that we have to become aware and then we have to be humble. Because so once I was given the awareness from, the movie All the Rage, and then from the coach and Katie's feedback, I then had to be humble enough to say, I see that is an issue and that I need to get better. How does somebody gain that kind of humility if they're not willing?
I think one of the biggest caveats that we say right in the beginning of the book is like, ultimately, it does require both people to want to do their inner work. You can't force anybody to save themselves. You can't force anybody to improve themselves. You can't force anybody to stop from imploding their life. Like if that is what their free will is going to choose, they're going to choose it. So first and foremost, there has to be their own motive and reason for fighting for it. Typically, it just means they're finally not willing to lose someone. It's almost like, here's a good way to put it. Finding the one is really about finding a person you're finally willing to fight for and not lose. I've never thought of it that way, but that's a great way to put it. It's finally someone that you're like, all right, I will do inner work for you because I don't want to lose this. The potential of this relationship and the potential of what you are to me is too great to let go. So I will be humble because this is officially something my ego doesn't want to lose. And so I think if we look at people that say get into their 50s and whatever, and they're still single and stuff, it's because their ego is so inflated that maybe they've never found someone that they're not willing to lose, and they just keep choosing themselves. So in other words, they won't ever be humble. So again, choice. It always comes down to choice. But I think the biggest incentive is finally someone's ego is being confronted with, this loss would actually be way more than trying to fight for it. So I'll fight for it. Because the ego is always like doing these checks and balances. And it's like, what is the least discomfort? It's always looking for the least discomfort. And so what happens is the prospect of divorce and a broken family becomes so uncomfortable to think about that finally being humble feels a little less uncomfortable. So I'll do that. And I think if we were to really just be blunt about it, I think it's that the person's ego is finally like, oh, this isn't worth losing. So I'll care.
And I'll say as a partner too, like going through this inner work journey together, we have both been on that side of the equation where we had to hold each other accountable and say, like, my standards require you to look at this. And I'm not going to settle for you just being like, I won't change. Right. Yeah. And I think a lot of times when we're at this impasse with our partners where we're like, well, they won't look at it, they won't do their inner work. I think a lot of times the partner who is complaining is also very complacent and not having a standard of, and this isn't going to work for me then. Yeah. I think they're too scared to say like, I'm going to leave this relationship if it doesn't improve. And I think it does require you to have enough self-esteem in yourself that you're clear about your standards of what you want for a marriage and what you want for a family. And you're very clear with that with your partner so that they understand you're not going to just settle into toxicity. You know, it's okay to go through things. It's okay to have chapters of high volatility or high emotion, as long as we're going to come back to getting back to a place of health and we're committed to that together. But just settling for it and then this is okay and there's no plan, absolutely not. And I think it does require both partners to be clear about those standards with each other, because if no one's going to hold the bar there, then you will fall into this complacency of, well, my partner's just not going to do this.
Yeah. And the best dating advice and marriage advice that we always recommend to people starting out is the most important thing to know about your partner is their values and their character, because when they're being squeezed, they're going to fall back on their values. And so the biggest thing we always recommend people to know is like, if you're dating someone, it's like, stop asking about their favorite color and their favorite food or whatever, and really get to know their value system, their character, what is their standards of life, what is their moral standards, what is their religious preference, like what is their genuine fiber of being. And so one of the things like that saved us in our relationship is that even though we've been through so many trials and tests now that almost broke us, one thing for sure that I remember us saying, and we have like some cool memories now being on the other side of it, is like I remember telling her a million times when I was like so down and out, as I was like, one thing you can trust about me is I will never quit. I'm never going to quit. I'm never going to let go, because I can't live with that. I will never quit. So whether it was like writing these books, whether it was the marriage, it didn't matter what it was. I just would always tell her like, I'm never going to quit. And I know that about her too, because I'd ask her, I'd be like, well, do you want to quit? Are you going to give up? And she's like, no, I won't. As long as we're being accountable, I'm here for it. So that's it's like a fiber of the person's being that says, as long as we are trying, I'm here. As long as we're being accountable, I'm here for it.
And it can be messy and it can be exhausting.
It can take years.
But if you're both trying, then you can get through it.
Yeah. And so if you value, and this value we're really talking about here, that's the bedrock of any inner work, is accountability and integrity. So when you have a value and a character that's built off of integrity and accountability, our personal opinion is that there's nothing you cannot weather. Nothing. If both partners have accountability and integrity, and that is their moral fiber, whether they're with this partner or not, it's just who they are as a person, and they've chosen that for themselves, there's nothing a couple can't get through and overcome, because the power of that consciousness, being integrous, aligning yourself with integrity and accountability, just the power of aligning your life with that is enough to overcome anything you might confront. It's just the nature of the energy of being accountable, because it's really cool, because it's a self-serving feedback loop. So when you're accountable, what we always say is, if you could just get someone to accountability, they will self-correct and they'll always be okay.
And just to summarize that, is accountability is a theme that you learn how to access in the book and how to embody, and it's a skill development. It's a self-esteem,
it's a level of
skill development, sure. And it's a practice. And if you can make that a part of your character, you're unstoppable.
Yeah, it's totally unstoppable. And then let alone all the higher themes past that are even more rewarding and more satisfying and even more healthy, if even that was possible. It's like it gets even better.
It gets even better. And that's what gets so exciting. We spent today talking about struggle, and we get to accountability, which is the beginning of like true happiness.
Totally.
And yet that's only like halfway to where we can actually go in terms of how happy we get to be. One of my favorite quotes from the book, and I don't know it exactly, but you said that your love actually grows over time. That there's this misconception that the honeymoon phase is as good as it gets. And you hear that a lot, right? And then you're in the book, you said that actually all the stuff you go through gives you a whole nother level of love for this person that you could have never received or experienced if you hadn't gone through all the things together.
Totally.
And I'm reading that and I'm thinking, this is why I love Katie so much more today than I did 15 years ago when we met. Is
Yep.
we've been through so much together, and our love has grown stronger, and our marriage has gotten better every single year that we've been together.
Mm-hmm.
So, but don't most people feel the opposite, that
Totally.
it's the best in the honeymoon phase and it just goes downhill from there?
So again, just another misconception of it's the deciding factor also is definitely, did they heal it or not? Because it is true that your love will wane over the years if you never address struggles and resentments that come up and you just bury them. That is going to make the love be less.
Yes, if you don't have these tools.
The caveat here is like, you have to heal and grow together, and then it's more profound because of overcoming that together, and the connection you got from that, and the trust you built from traversing something together. And the funny thing is yeah, it's like, well, yeah, if you just keep turning a blind eye to things, which we know a lot of the older generation used to do, is like, they don't want to look at that. They don't want to talk about it. They're just like, oh, let's just stay peaceful, please. Let's not talk about that.
So in the book, we say every trigger, every episode, every fight or, conflict that you have with your partner is either going to fracture the relationship or it's going to strengthen the relationship. And that's just going to come down to your approach, is whether or not you're doing the inner work together or not. And if you're completely unaware of how to navigate a relationship with this mindset, you're more so kind of like in the passenger seat of your life in your relationship, where things just happen to you and then you experience, the side effect of that. And it's like, you have no control. It's like, we got in a fight and now things suck, versus we're getting in a fight and we're going to get in the driver's seat and we're going to navigate where this ends, and we're going to make it even better, and we're going to learn and we're going to grow. That mindset is what makes what you and Katie have possible. We're so much more in love today because of everything we successfully got through together, with conscious awareness and communication and strengthening our love and our perseverance and our devotion to each other, versus so all these bad things happened and our relationship just kept withering and withering and withering because neither of us were in the driver's seat.
And then it becomes the cliche where, you go hang out with your friends and you have that horrible pattern of your dog and your partner. Oh, my old ball and chain. Oh yeah.
I can't deal with that.
Right.
I don't want to be around it. I don't want to hang out with people that speak poorly about their partner. It's just not an energy that I want to be around.
And what's crazy is that it's constantly being portrayed in media and movies and stuff
normal.
As like, that's the normal thing if you've been married. Like Matt, as a man especially, the conditioning as a man is so brutal. Like almost every movie we watch, if the character has been married for like 10, 20 years and has kids and stuff, what is always the perception of that man? He's pissed about it. He's either cheating, he's doing something weird, he doesn't like her anymore, he's annoyed at his kids. Right? We're being inundated with conditioning that like there is no happy long-term marriage where the husband's like, well, my wife's like incredible, she's my ride or die, like I'm eternally in love with this woman and my kids and my family, I'm so happy about it. We're not being programmed with that. We're being programmed with the extreme opposite, where if you're a married person for a long period of time, your marriage it's empty, there's no more love there, and it's just convenient, and that's it. And it's like, wow, that is not true whatsoever. And what we're really trying to propose to the world here is, we do believe that love is eternal. And this is the concept right there, is it's eternal in the sense of its growth is infinite. It has infinite potential. If I were to give you a business pitch and be like, hey, here's our business model, it has infinite growth potential and infinite return. Like, of course you'd be interested. You'd be like, great, it sounds like a great thing here. And there's no like cost, there's no downside here. It's like, no, you just got to be accountable and it'll have infinite growth. And so it's like, our relationship is literally that, like you're saying with you and Katie, it's like, when we show up to the trials and the challenges of our life together, we keep leaning on each other, we keep showing up with integrity, we keep showing up in these higher themes, the love truly is eternal, and it only gets stronger. And yeah, that's our joke too, of like, when we think of going back to when we first met, we're like, no, I would never want to be that young again. I would never want to be that ignorant again and naive and
Oh yeah,
clueless. Like,
all the ignorance.
yeah,
You
like,
take away
no.
all the lessons, all the growth. The wait is finally over. The Good Mood Revolution book is officially available for pre-order on Amazon today. You can go to Amazon and look for Good Mood Revolution book. And in this book, you're going to find the 8 bad moods that get in the way of your happiness. You're going to learn strategies on how to overcome each of these 8 negative thoughts. They're all lies anyway. And then what the thought patterns are that make us happy every single day. You're also going to learn strategies that can make you really feel fulfilled in your life and make other people around you feel fulfilled as well. So go on Amazon, look for Good Mood Revolution book, and order yours today. Let's finish with how good it can be.
Totally.
And I'll just say, working with you, Matt, my relationships, all of them have improved tremendously. And I'm so grateful for everything you've taught me. Our marriage is we don't know people that have a marriage like ours. We pinch ourselves that we get to be married to each other, and then we get to be so happy all the time.
Yep.
And it's just really joyful. As I'm reading the higher themes in the book, and I told you I was texting you about getting to ease, and I'm like, this is exactly what Katie and I have been talking about, that we need to do less and we need to enjoy it more, and we just need to take it easy. And we had been like planning all these dates and just letting ourselves relax, and because our life is really well taken care of with all the accountability that we brought to it. So we came back into this theme of ease. What are some of these higher themes, and how good can it get?
Mm-hmm. You want me to walk them through it?
Sure.
So the foundation of it all, like we said, is that integrity, that accountability. And as far as the relationship's concerned, that's really showing up to your life responsibilities, handling what needs to be handled, doing everything with integrity, not cutting corners and doing weird stuff in the lower themes, thinking you're going to take a shortcut. It's really managing.
Thinking you're going to get away with it.
Yeah, and thinking you're going to get away with it for sure. And so it's like, it's really built on first, managing your life, being responsible, doing it with integrity, doing it with those important, healthy morals, because then that sets you up for the next theme of maturing, which is ease. It's the ability to say, hey, you have been showing up with so much courage to confront so much uncomfortable stuff, right? Because being married and being in just human in general, there's so much uncomfortable things we have to do. And so it's like confronting that discomfort. You develop that self-esteem that now allows you to have ease, which is the introduction to this balance that we all are craving, where we get to play and be loved and flirt and go on dates and it actually be rewarding,
and
because
authentic.
everything's authentically handled.
Because if your life isn't dealt with, if your relationship still has unhealed problems, unspoken resentments, things that are not worked out, or even your finances or your home life, or if these things go unmanaged, you can't truly be in ease and joy and love, because how could there be romance and letting go if in the back of your head there's still these problems? So it's like, handle your problems first allows you to authentically just be in ease.
And it's a priceless feeling when it's authentic.
To actually put your feet up and relax together and watch the sunset uninterrupted with zero stress in the back of your mind, because truly you guys are handling everything in your life, and you deserve to be in that moment uninterrupted. So it's like natural side effects of these stages keep leading into more bliss, more love, and it keeps compounding.
Mm-hmm. And then something else we point out in the book too is, Ash made a good point bringing this up right away, is a lot of times we like to skip. We want to try to skip to these higher themes because they are all pleasant. They sound pleasant. And ease is one of the most common ones that everyone wants to skip to. And the reason why we point out in the book you can't skip is because without the developmental foundational step, it's like building your house on sand, right? It's like, it's not going to last. It's going to wash away really, really easily. And a really good example with ease right away is, it would be like you're going on a romantic vacation and date, and you're whining and dining, but like you totally have a bunch of resentments, and you're like, hey, for this vacation, let's just not fight. Let's just not talk about anything. Okay. It's all still there. and they totally have issues with each other, but they're just going to drink it away and wine and dine it away and not talk about it.
I was
And
just
then-
going to say that too, is that I see this with people that are just like, I just drink every single night.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll just shut down all the negative thoughts that are in my head, have a few drinks, and then I'll just be at ease every single night. I'll just
Boom.
cheat my way there.
And yeah, if you bring up alcohol, 100%, that is always used as a huge scapegoat for dealing with a lot of our lower themes.
And it's such an illusion.
And it's
'cause
such an
there's
illusion.
no actual ease there. It creates the exact opposite ripple effect
Yeah.
in so many ways.
So running with that analogy a little bit further, though, it's like, okay, and then also let's say you're financially strapped, but you're going to go party and have a good time and go spend more. And you're on this vacation, you're trying to be extravagant together. And it's like, but you're going to wake up from all of that and it's going to be, your situation's worse, right?
You spend
the
more
relation-
money.
Yes. The relationship's got more fractures probably because you got drunk, you had issues and you didn't connect. And now you're bitter because you didn't connect as well as you wanted
Or you
to.
said the wrong thing one night because
Yes.
you let, right?
Exactly. So that's just a really easy way to prove this concept that we're trying to point out in the book is you cannot skip. It is what it is. You got to develop your maturity. You got to develop, your stages of self-esteem to be able to enjoy the fruits of life with a foundation that you really earned. So as we keep going, you have this ease, you have this healthy balance. This allows you for the setup for, hey, things are really good. We're responsible. We're in love. What's our potential though?
Because once you're truly in ease and life is easy,
You're just maintaining.
and let's say you get bored, but like it's easy. Like
Yeah,
life
it's
is easy. You
Life
guys
is
have
easy.
you're on point, and now you're just enjoying. And there's so much space now. There's space in your relationship. There's space in your time. There's space in your mental capacity and emotional capacity. And once there's space, what do we naturally want to do? We want to fill it with something, which leads us into inspiration.
Yeah,
And we get motivated, we get inspired
Yes.
because with all that space and we're not stressed anymore,
Yep.
we're truly in a relaxed nervous system.
Are you looking to take your happiness to another level? If you're looking to be more successful, we need to be happier because success and happiness go hand in hand. But sometimes we get stuck in thought patterns we don't even know are holding us back. And we need a coach or a mentor to see things we can't see with our own eyes. I've had coaches and mentors help me access levels of happiness I couldn't have achieved without them. I'm now offering that same service to a small, select number of people. If you think one-on-one coaching could elevate your happiness, go to mattoneil.com and click the coaching tab to learn more. I look forward to talking with you.
Relationships that are, at this level of development together, experience a lot less conflict. Like there is no longer the turmoil that they experienced even when they were in accountability and they were like, doing these things
through,
to, do it for the family. And we're going to heal and fix all these things. Like there is no more things to fix anymore.
I have so much grace for Katie at this point. It's crazy. So she just got back from that concert, but we were out of town the week before because my father passed, and she hasn't been in the office at all. And she's back today, and her emails are like this, and the children, there's cross country practice, and she was just super stressed, like crazy, like so high stress. And she said something to our daughter, and then our daughter was crying. And I had the kids, I had all the other children, just myself this weekend, and we had like a blast, no conflicts or anything, but I'm all caught up on my stuff. I was that stressed on Thursday morning when we got back to town from being in Michigan, and she gave me all this space, and she's like, you know what? I'm going to take the kids to this thing and you just get caught up because I know you need to get caught up. So she's into the office today, and she's like furiously typing on the computer, and our daughter's crying, and I'm like, Katie, are you okay? And she's like, I am just so underwater right now. And, but there doesn't need to be judgment about that.
Exactly.
Like that she, of course, she's just got a lot of stuff that she needs some space to get caught up on, but there's no reason to be upset with her or say that she did it wrong or
100%.
That's right there. Like you guys are on this mission together. You have like, your family, you have your business, you're under all this overwhelmingly stress. In the past, maybe if, these things were already healed and dealt with, that would have been a trigger and it could exploded into a level of conflict. But today it's like, Grace, how can I support you? Like you're my partner, you're my teammate, because like you guys have already been through all these other stages. And it's like, and so what this is what's so cool about the inner work is what once used to be, an opportunity for something to just explode becomes this opportunity for deeper connection and grace and love and support.
Yeah, it's really cool too. Something to reflect on this topic of acceptance is a really cool thing that will happen as you do inner work in relationships is you will see a verbatim situation like you're describing that maybe in the past was literally like you used to get triggered by and get competitive about, let's say. But instead now you're just like, oh, I love you. I understand. We both have, we both have moments like this. And you get to see yourself showing up differently. And it's such a testimony of how far that we've come. We've had so many moments like this also where I'll have a verbatim situation repeat, like down to like her saying the same thing or down to the circumstances almost being exactly the same. But my energy and response is so different, or her energy and response is so different that we go, whoa, do you remember like literally just a month ago or a year ago where that exact situation happened, but you responded this way last time and now you responded this way? Did you notice that? And it's really this fun thing because you realize how far you've come and you're like, whoa, that's so true. I did react super negatively last time, but this time I didn't even think about it. And so like for you, that grace response now, for example, was probably just like, you didn't even think about it. It's just become a natural instinct at this point. And that's a testament to all the growth, the healing, the maturing, the wisdom that you've been cultivating since, you've been on this journey together. And that's what's so fun about acceptance is we see the whole picture finally. We can see our partner with grace and forgiveness because we can take a more bird's eye view. And this naturally leads into the next theme of understanding. And when we really understand our partner, we understand who they are. We understand the nuances of what makes them who they are. We know their story. We understand their past. We understand their motivations. We understand why they're inspired to be and do what they want to be and do. We really understand our partner deeper and deeper. And the more interest you take in truly understanding your partner, which is really doing inner work and really understanding their psychology and their subconscious and their influences that made them who they are, that naturally leads us into the next theme after that, which is love. The more you understand someone, the more you can't help but love them. This is true of anybody, whether it's our child, whether it's our partner, whether it's a friend. The more you understand someone, the more you love them because you appreciate the depth of the creation, the genius, the intricacy that goes into a human life is so profound that when you have people in your life and you realize and you get to know them and you realize the intricacy of who they are, we can't help but just love people because we see the complexity, even if it's a struggling relationship, a difficult one. We can't help but still love them because we even see their difficult behavior is from trauma and it's from their issues and it's from this and that. And so understanding leads us into the next huge pivot point, which is love. And this love from here now is on this like ripening to a universal love. And so the next two themes is like love and inner peace and that true freedom and lasting happiness. And really what we could just sum this up as is it's exactly that. You're understanding the profound intricacy of what makes us human. We're taking that even further to make it more universal. Your spiritual understanding evolves more to be like, wait a minute. How are we even on earth? How are we even conscious? Where are we? What are we?
And in your
Who are we?
relationship, it's like, how did we come together?
How did we meet
like
each other?
out of all the
billions
this
of
is
people.
so special.
It's crazy.
And then not only did we find each other, but the level of synchronicity
And the journey we've been on and the
you start
family
to be like,
we're creating, it's like
what?
so profound.
And then you start to realize that you can't help but be overwhelmed with love because life seems to be pretty dang magical. You really just can't help but say, hold on a minute. This might as well be magic because it's so beyond logic at this point.
And then you said, I wake up every day pinching myself. That's it right there. Because when this all clicks, that's all you can do.
It's as if you're living a magical reality.
Is this our life every day? And you're still here and we're together. And like our life is so beautiful.
And we just keep growing and life just keeps progressing. And
we get to have this happiness every day. And it's just, and now it doesn't matter if things are hard. if struggles come up, if there's loss or there's
Just doesn't
grief or
matter.
there's change, because you now have access to this level of consciousness and you can deal with those things from this space. And so it no longer feels the way it used to feel, like you were drowning, or it overwhelmed you, or it violated you, or it, ruined you. It's more so an experience that you're going through and observing from this higher consciousness space of like total awareness. And it's a part of the journey. It's a part of the story. And you can go through it with love. You can go through it from freedom, internal freedom. And you can even have happiness while you experience pain.
And knowing that I think a really good way, if we say this is about maturing and it's about self-development, it's knowing that you can 100% trust yourself to come back to the highest perspective, come back to this place of literally existential gratitude, and being able to trust yourself that you can traverse whatever life throws at you. And then when you combine that with a partner and you both feel that way.
I was just going to say, in the inner work relationships is like, but two people doing this together. So you're not alone experiencing this in your mind, and you have a partner who like doesn't understand.
So cool.
You're actually co-experiencing, and this person feels and understands exactly what you are.
The same way
and you're
see
sharing that view of reality. And that is incredible.
It's truly awe-inspiring, and it's our highest hope for everyone. I wish all humanity could have access to this.
They can.
It's our birthright.
They can.
And
they can. They can. All humanity can. And I just have loved what you two are doing. You two have had such a profound impact in my personal life and Katie's life. She's like, she'll often quote back things that you guys have said to me, because then I've taught it to her. And as I'm teaching it to her, I'm learning it. And then at the same time, she's learning it. And then something happens and she'll say it to me. Ash, I thought what you said was really beautiful. One of the things Matt said to me a long time ago that Katie and I always think about is, if we can't learn to be happy while we're experiencing challenge and adversity, we'll never really be happy. Because this challenge and adversity is change, and life is change. And so we have to learn to be happy and enjoy the ride of change. In the book, one of the last chapters, you had a quote, and it was from somebody else. I can't pronounce his name, but he said, you realize that the road is the destination. And that we're just always on the road to experience its beauty and its lessons. That quote has just stuck with me, that we're always on the road, and that's where we're supposed to be. We're not going anywhere else. We're here, and we're just here to experience it and love it and grow from it.
And in a sense too, it's really interesting when we think about that concept, because it's a nod also to our eternalness, that like this is a forever journey. And how exciting is that to think? And again, when you're in the more struggling part, we don't want to hear that. We're like, I hope I'm not eternal. Or we do hope that there's some sort of destination where it ends.
It's better,
right?
It's better.
Where it ends.
Then it'll be filled with golden fleeces and everything will be perfect at that moment. That'll be great. I can't wait. This miserable existence, I just hope it ends so I get to go to that thing.
But the side effect is like, wait a minute though, once you get over that hurdle, what actually becomes the reality that gets exciting is actually be like, hold on a minute. I'm forever on this road of progress. I'm forever on this road of experiencing love and life and all of its facets and all of its expressions. Wow, that's something really exciting, because once you realize that your love is eternal, going back to what we said earlier in this conversation, that it's only going to grow, you start to realize that there literally is no limit. And like we always joke, like, man, I can't wait to do more lifetimes with you, for example. It's like, what else can we keep doing together? What else can we keep experiencing together? Because there's literally no limit. I wonder how
many we've had. I wonder how many lifetimes Katie and I have already spent together.
Right?
Exactly.
And to tag off of what you said about, it's this journey that we're always on. If we can't learn to be happy while we're in it, like we're never going to be happy. Is like, just to summarize, this book it teaches you to be a yogi. Like that is what yoga is. It's about realizing that place with all the golden, what did you say, silks and fleeces
Yeah, right.
isn't a physical destination. It's a state of consciousness, and you can arrive at it. You can experience it because it's inside of you, and it always has been. And that is the path of yoga. So we always say, do your marriage like a yogi, have your family like a yogi, like go to work like a yogi, deal with this conflict like a yogi, because that place that you want to arrive at, you can access it at any time inside of yourself.
Yeah.
And once you learn how to unlock that gate, you are truly free. You are truly happy, because nobody can take that internal state from you. You can choose to access it at any time. You can choose that perspective at any time. And that is the most powerful thing in human existence to be able to do.
To maintain our freedom amidst discomfort. And it really is a nod to, if we look at, say, Jesus' teachings of like the heaven is within you. It's like, this is the nod to the Eastern teaching of like, realize that consciousness within you. It's within you. It's a state. It's not a place. It's a state of consciousness that then can be with you amongst any and all circumstances. And that's really when this journey gets so beautiful and profound, because you realize that there's literally no limit to your happiness then, and your progress, if it even applies when things are negative, and it applies to things being uncomfortable. And that really unlocks something in your relationship where you realize like, okay, well, if it applies to that too, then let's do this. So we can be uncomfortable, but still be madly in love with each other. We can be uncomfortable, but still feel confident and empowered. And even though we're sad, or even though we're going through maybe something really hard, we can still be free internally while going through that. Mm-hmm. And that is so profound, because you again, to use a Jesus concept, it's like you're wearing the world loose, like a loose garment, meaning you're not getting attached. You're not getting stuck.
But you're also not gaslighting yourself into not experiencing human emotion. Like, it's okay to be sad. It's okay to be angry. Just don't lose your awareness, and have grace, like fully feel these emotions. Like, yoga isn't about only being happy.
Yeah, it's not about being detached.
It's not detached. It's about actually fully embracing the human experience with acceptance, radical acceptance. So it's like feeling your sadness, talking about why you feel violated to your wife, admitting these vulnerable, like that is the yoga right there. It's like the full embrace of our humanness is actually the liberation from it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we just get to live an amazing life, which you two are doing. Your baby is coming anytime. Ash, I'm so excited for you. I'm so excited to see pictures of this little boy. Thank you guys for just being who you are. Thank you for writing this book. I know how much work you put into it, because I was talking with Matt through. He's like, all right, I've just got to put the last final push on it. And then like 2 months later, all right, we're digging deep. We're putting the last final push. And then 2 months later, he's like, we can't do anything else. So like, I know you guys poured your heart and soul into this book, and I can assure you it's changing lives. It changed mine. And thank you for taking the time today to come on here and help other people learn from you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having us. And we're so glad to hear the book had that impact.
Yeah, this is our first and only interview on the book, I think. So we're really grateful. Like, thank you so much.
All right, y'all. Thank y'all for listening. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode with Matt O'Neill.